close to 1,100 Afghans, many of whom helped the U.S. fight the Taliban, have now spent years living on a former American military base in Qatar. The group includes interpreters for the U.S. military, former members of the Afghan Special Operations Forces, and over 400 children, all of whom were promised safe passage to the United States. But now, according to a report from the New York Times, the Trump administration is likely giving them a stark choice: resettle in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a country that's grappling with one of the worst refugee crises, or return to Afghanistan and try to survive under Taliban rule. This plan is facing bipartisan condemnation, but the State Department does not need congressional approval to move forward. Joining us now is Sean Jamshmidi, an Afghan-American who served in the U.S. Marine Corps, and his brother, who directly protected U.S. personnel in Afghanistan, is currently stuck in Qatar and at risk of being sent to Congo or elsewhere, despite being previously vetted and cleared to come to the U.S. Sean, thank you so much for returning to the table. Give us a status update on how your brother's doing.
Thank you for having me back on the show. So currently I spoke to my brother. He's confused, and he doesn't understand why. He's being told now that he's been waiting there for over a year and a half. He's been told now that he's going to go to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And that's a country that I've been to. That's a country I've been in uniform. I served there, and it's not a beautiful place to send anyone, let alone Afghan allies who served with the United States.
The State Department is also sort of presenting this as like a voluntary resettlement. Like folks can, and then eventually it'll be a mandatory, it seems. The choices are: return to the Taliban, that you, in their eyes, betrayed them in the country by helping the United States, or go to the DRC, which has tons of issues, the world's worst humanitarian crisis happening there. How is that even a choice? And what do you think, as someone who has served, as someone who has a brother who has defended and protected those who served for us in Afghanistan, like about the choice that they're trying to present to those folks?
No, like you said, the State Department is presenting this as a choice. It's really not a choice at all. This is a country they're trying to send them to where they're dealing with armed conflict, instability, and the world's worst humanitarian crisis. And these are allies who stood with us. These are individuals who protected us. And now they're saying they have a choice between choosing between the Taliban or going to a country that is already dealing with their own issues.
That's not even a choice. Yeah. And there is bipartisan outrage on Capitol Hill. You had Senator Chris Coons, Democrat of Delaware, exiling them to a country they've never lived in, or sending them to certain death at the Taliban's hands is a cowardly betrayal. Senator Jeanne Shaheen, Democrat of New Hampshire: Congress must be united against this inhumane plan. Congressman Don Bacon, Republican of Nebraska: we made promises to those fighting by our side to bring them to the U.S. We should keep our promises. And Congressman Joe Wilson, Republican of South Carolina: those that helped America should be brought to America because people certainly risk their lives. All those statements are true. And yet I'm just wondering, what can Congress do to stop the president, stop the administration from acting on this plan to bring those Afghan allies, including your brother and his family, to the United States?
Well, this is not a bipartisan issue. They need to come together and they need to vote. And they need to vote on a better policy, a policy that should bring these individuals who supported us to the United States. And if they don't come together and vote, the administration will ultimately send these individuals to a place where they shouldn't be in the first place.
Sean, I'm wondering, did your brother hear about this through news media, or was he directly informed of it? How did that process work?
He was informed just like I was through the media, and there's no official words to him yet. But we're trying to shed light, me and Afghan UVAC President Sean Van Daver from the Afghan UVAC, trying to shed light on this heinous act, hopefully that we can stop it before it happens. Again, like, I've been there in uniform, and the condition on the ground is not pretty. It's not somewhere you would send anyone.
Is there any thinking that they can just wait it out until the next administration and stay in Qatar?
Unfortunately, that is not an option, because the administration is looking actively to remove those individuals from Qatar, and they're looking at trying to send them to a third-party country, and they can't seem to come to a conclusion on what country that is, but the DRC is one of them that they have been discussing.
One of the things that is always, I think, important for us to point out is when there is hypocrisy in the way that Donald Trump has operated when he was a private citizen between the presidencies and how he is talking and feeling now. I want to play something he said in 2021 after the pullout from Afghanistan. Essentially defending
we gave them a list of all of the Americans, and somebody told me that the list had a lot of Afghans that helped us on it also. Those people are in serious trouble. They have a list now of all Americans and also many Afghans, and it was given to them, I think, under the pretense of, we'd like these people to be allowed to come onto the plane. It's just like incredible. But they got a list of many people who are still there, and those people are in serious trouble.
Sean, just a few years ago, him defending them and now sending them to the Congo.
This is interesting, actually. This is the first time me hearing this. And the fact that he actually stood for these Afghan allies and he understood when he was a civilian that how this is a huge deal, especially for our future operations that we're going to have. And this is going to continue for other operations. And if we don't stick behind these allies, the future allies will not support us and they will not trust us. And the game is all about trust.
Sean Jamshidi, thank you so much, as always, for coming to The Weekend.
Thank you for having me.